Welcome to the show. My name is Stefan Hartmann, your host of the Iron Direct Primary Care Podcast. I'm joined today with David Hoover. You are a VOC specialist, right?
Yes.
Volatile organic compounds.
Uh-huh.
And this is all about healthy homes. So making sure patients are aware of the problems out there, even in so-called new homes. That some people will walk into a new home and think they bought a great house, and then they're getting sick and they come to us with problems. And they think, well, it can't quite possibly be my brand new home with brand new materials. But tell us a little bit about that.
Well, that's actually, I hear a little distortion on my perfect segue actually into my story,
Really?
my personal story. It was about 4.5 years ago. We built a new house in Grant, and we were there, I don't know, maybe a month. Started to notice I'm not sleeping very well. And then that kind of went into sleep anxiety, where I knew that I wasn't going to be able to sleep. And so I get anxious about going to sleep. And then other circumstances in my life made that turn into depression. And the depression lasted for about a month. And just through prayer and the Bible, I was able to solve that pretty quickly. But the other problems, I just started praying for wisdom, because I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. I've never had this happen before. And like you were saying, it's a brand new house, everything's new. It's got a nice filter in the air conditioner. What else do I need? So all of a sudden I start diving into building science and ventilation and HVAC. And I start to learn about air quality and VOCs and everything like that. And it turns out that the garage of my house was connected to the air in my house. Actually really well. It was pretty much inside. And then my house is actually really well sealed. So then that was trapping the VOCs that we're creating, but that also the gasoline in our garage, that was going into our house that we were breathing 24/7.
That is terrible.
Yeah, so made me super just sick and anxious and everything else. And so I started learning about ventilating dehumidifiers and decided that was the best way to go for my house. And meanwhile, I was working with a company to get that done. I started working in my garage. We got a shed and got all the chemicals and all the gasoline out of the garage. So that was a big first step. And then I actually introduced negative pressure ventilation in the garage, just for the time being, while I was sealing the garage. So the whole wall underneath, there's a sill plate. And the sill plate wasn't sealed whatsoever. So air was just traveling, to and from the house and the garage. So I did the best I could to seal all that up, and basically make the garage outside the house, because we don't want the garage inside.
No.
We don't want all that junk inside. And it turns out later we started kind of using the garage as another room and like a play area, project area. So now I actually have balanced ventilation. So I have fresh air coming in through a HEPA filter, and on the other side of the garage, the same amount of air going back out with an exhaust fan. So really nice ventilation out there. Great filtration, great VOCs. And then we had a company install a ventilating dehumidifier. So that brings in fresh air and return air, mixes it together, sends it through the dehumidifier, and dumps it into the ductwork. So there's fresh filtered air coming into our house 24/7. We're running about 135 CFM. And, over the course of a few days, that brought the VOCs down to a healthy level. And I started sleeping again. My anxiety went away. And it was the biggest health change that I've ever experienced.
My goodness. And that was just all on your own. You weren't even doing this for other people yet, right?
No, and I couldn't find anyone else to help me. Because it's kind of a new problem with our houses being so well sealed in the name of energy efficiency.
Right.
But no one's looking at the health.
That is so crazy because, I think of it from a mold perspective, and I want my house well sealed because, especially this room here, I've spent a lot of effort to get this place a little bit better sealed because it was wet, it was humid, we're getting mold, and we know that humidity comes from the outdoors, so we have to seal our home. So how do we balance, making it mold proof, but then also not trapping VOCs in our own home?
Yeah. So the ideal home is completely sealed with mechanical ventilation, because now we know where the air is coming from and we know where the air is going. So there's homes called passive homes these days, and a lot of people are striving to get low blower door numbers, which means like super airtight home, like a Yeti cooler almost. But then you have to have mechanical ventilation, and you can have MERV 13, MERV 16, and carbon filtration, whatever you need on the intake. And then so you're dropping out all the pollution, mold spores, whatever it is. You're dropping the ozone by about half with charcoal, and then you're bringing that into the house so you get your fresh air in a controlled way. With a high performance house, normally you would be bringing in the same amount of air as you're taking out, but you can also have what's called positive pressure ventilation. So the air is blowing in and blowing out through all the cracks in your house. And this works in Florida to dry the inside of the walls as the air is going out. So it's more mold prevention.
Oh my. I mean, it sounds like every house in Florida needs this. You must stay pretty busy.
Well, surprisingly, not a lot of people know about it, and it's difficult to introduce this new mentality and this new way of living.
Well, you're at the right spot because my patients are going to listen to this and your phone's going to be blowing up because we deal with this so much, the mold problem, and they're still sick sometimes even after we treat the mold. So I think there's other layers to it. VOCs is a huge problem because this place is growing so much and people are buying new houses, new apartment buildings, and they keep moving to this area, and then they get sick. Yeah. And they're like, well, it can't be possible. It's not mold. Okay, well, we got to look at other things too.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think of other important things. It's really easy to DIY cleaning your air handler. I think most homeowners don't realize this, but it's easy to clean it, and you should do it like 4 times a year, especially if you don't have a really good filter. And the filter doesn't. You don't want to have any bypass around the filter. So that needs to be sealed, because any bypass around the filter then deposits dust onto the coil or into the ductwork, and then it has the microbes have stuff to eat. So especially if you don't have a good filter, just open that thing up, use some probiotic cleaner. It's real gentle. It won't harm the coils, and you can clean it pretty easily.
Right.
But the first time you may have to have a technician come in and clean it.
And so do you do like full service for these things, or how's your approach with, approaching someone's home?
Oh, okay. Yeah, my approach is visual inspection first, inside and outside. We're looking for building science stuff, any sort of moisture issues, cracking, anywhere animals might be getting in, or bugs or things like that. Check under all the sinks, and then check for more moisture with an infrared camera. So moisture is going to show up cold on the infrared camera because it's evaporating. And then I can go back with a moisture meter and check and see if that area is actually wet. And if it is, then, I've been in homes where the tub wasn't caulked and it's leaking down on the ceiling underneath, or the ductwork is laying down on the ceiling, making the ceiling cold and could get wet. So all that inspection first, and then, I take note and pictures of everything, and use a Google Drive to get all the information to the homeowner. And I do 1 week of data logging, and I'm going to data log ultrafine particles, VOCs, humidity, carbon dioxide, temperature, actually radon too. My new monitor does radon.
Is that a problem in Florida, radon?
Not really.
Yeah.
Once in a while if you're in a radon area, but not usually.
Right.
Never seen it high in our area. If you do have an ultra sealed house, it's possible that it could elevate a little bit, but probably not to a dangerous level.
And then after you identified the problem, how do you go about fixing it?
It would basically be talking to the homeowner and seeing where they're at and seeing how they'd like to fix it. I'm very customer driven. So, I kind of lay out the things that they can do because the free solution is you crack some windows, get some fresh air in there. If it's something to where the garage is connected and, they don't want to pay to have things sealed up or whatever, they can just put a cabinet outside and get all their chemicals out. So there's really inexpensive things you can do, like almost free things you can do.
Or not parking your car in your garage?
Yeah, at least leaving your car or leaving the garage open for like 10 minutes after you pull it in.
Yeah.
If your car's in good shape, the emission system kind of contains the vapors mostly. But you're right, you'd get carbon monoxide. In the houses that I've tested, if your air handler's in the garage, there's a 100% chance that your garage air is connected with your home's air because the air handler always leaks. So that's really important.
That's not good. Well, and then do you go about installing some of these devices, or do you have a team that installs it, or who installs it?
I'm still working on getting good guys together, but I'm working on a lady's house right now, and I think I've found a really good contractor. He's one of my friends, and hopefully he's gonna do a great job.
All right. Yeah. So this is pretty custom.
Yes.
Very custom. Well, if you were to design a house on your own, how would you envision designing it like a perfect home?
There'd be a lot to it.
Like, I was thinking, first of all, like, don't have a garage inside your house. Have a separate garage.
Yes, detached garage.
Detached garage. That'd be simple.
The other thing you can do is use like a zip system on the barrier between the home and the garage, so that way it's super well sealed, and then you can verify it with a blower door afterwards. But then you're still opening and closing the garage door and letting some in. So yeah, detached would be the best. Then like you can do comfort things, like let's say you're putting a metal roof on your house. You could put a radiant barrier under your metal roof.
A what barrier?
Radiant barrier.
Radiant? What is that?
Radiant barrier is like a foil material, and it reflects like about 98% of radiant heat. So that's really nice in Florida. And then you can insulate underneath the roof, seal it and insulate it, and you can have what's called a conditioned attic. So then all your ductwork, all your mechanicals and everything, if it leaks, it's leaking inside air. It's already filtered, it's already conditioned. So then you're eliminating mold in potentially breathing in like insulation and stuff from leaky ductwork. So a conditioned attic's a really good way to go. Has to be done properly though, and it has to maintain low humidity inside the
attic. Well, in this 100-year-old building in my office, we have a vent in the front and the back of the attic, and it creates an air channel.
Yeah, vented attic.
Okay, that's what you're talking about?
That's a vented attic.
Okay.
That's a traditional attic.
Yeah, old Florida homes 100 years ago, they had that. They don't have that anymore.
They actually all still build it the same way.
Really?
Yep, all the ductwork's outside still. Yeah, very few people's homes have a conditioned attic. Clint's like the only one, and his parents are like the only ones I can think of right now that have a conditioned attic.
Cool.
But yeah, that's a good thing to do. And then actually cement block is great because you can air seal it really well, or any kind of cement really. If you're building a wood structure, you can use something like the zip system, where on the outside you have a weather barrier, and then you're actually taping the seams, so you can make it very airtight. So your weather, water barriers, and everything are really important. So I guess basically health-wise, what I'm trying to say is we're blocking out all the air and the moisture and the rain and everything else and the heat to keep us comfortable. And then inside we'll have a mechanical ventilation system, dehumidification system, and air conditioning system.
Okay. Well, I might look at having this done at my house. What it's like cost-wise should I budget for getting this all done?
That all depends on what you want to have done.
Well, spent a lot last year getting mold remediated. I had all my ductworks torn out, and
Oh, man.
I had a new AC unit installed.
Yeah.
All redone. I had a new roof put on too because the old one was leaking.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all done. So beyond that, what further should I budget for?
In a normal home with a regular ventilated attic, ventilating dehumidifier is the way to go if you want it to be installed.
Okay.
And, it's in the attic, it's controlled on its own, you don't have to worry about it kind of thing. The other way you can go is use windows and a dehumidifier to get fresh air in. That works really well. You can also use like a portable setup where you could use a window or a hole in the wall to bring in fresh filtered air, go through a dehumidifier and blow it into your house. Like those are more inexpensive ways to go. But I think you're probably looking around $7,500 for an installed system.
Okay.
And they're meant to last over 10 years.
All right.
So I like to use Santa Fe dehumidifiers. They're made here, and they use an E-coat on their coils, so they last a really long time.
Right. So you recommended a portable dehumidifier, which I installed in this room from Costco. It's like $200. And I see that thing. It's if I'm not running it and I turn it on, the humidity here is like 64%. And then when I run it on hard, it gets down to maybe 45 or below. But what humidity level should I be looking for in a room?
Under 55%, 24/7.
All right.
That's going to be your safety zone.
Yeah. And that's where you're not going to be growing mold, right?
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, and 50% is ideal. You get the least amount of microbial growth and like viruses being able to survive at 50%. Which is really cool because 50% is ideal for human comfort. It's pretty cool, huh?
But if you get it below 50%, are you going to be uncomfortable? I haven't noticed that here.
I'd say like 40 to 50 is nice.
Yeah.
If you have dry skin, maybe keep it at 50.
Okay.
But yeah, some people might like it in the lower 40s. It's more crisp.
Right. Yeah. So I need a whole house dehumidifier because I put the one in the bathroom because my wife likes a hot shower. That hot shower increases the humidity dramatically in that bathroom. So we run the dehumidifier and it really struggles sometimes when she's taking a hot shower. It gets really humid in there. I had that whole bathroom. I forgot I had that whole bathroom redone because there was mold in there because of that problem. And so I run that one and keep it below 50. But the rest of my house needs to be done too because every other room, it's not below 50 in every other room. So we need a whole house dehumidifier.
Does your humidity stay elevated during the summer as well?
I haven't tested it. I only got this machine recently. I don't know. But it might be useful to get like a portable or just bring this thing around to different parts of my house, turn it on, see how humid it is.
Yeah, or put it in the main part of the house or something, see if it helps.
Good.
Having a really nice bath fan can help as well.
Right.
So something that maybe moves closer to 100 CFM, like a blower style fan, like a cage fan. Panasonic makes some nice ones, or Brown.
Right.
And then wall timer. A wall timer in the bathroom is excellent because let's say the worst one is like hairspray. So you spray some hairspray on, and that VOC spike will last in your house for like 24 hours.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's crazy. So if you spray your perfume, do your nails with acetone, stuff like that, close the bathroom door and put on your bath fan timer and run it for like an hour, and then that'll exhaust those chemicals out.
Hairdressers all need this. There, and I ever go into a hairdresser's place. Oh my gosh, I can't stand the smell. Acetone, hairspray, and chemicals. Ugh.
If you can smell something, the VOCs are already high.
Well, I do have a bit of multiple chemical sensitivity syndrome. I'm very sensitive to smells. And I know if someone has been here at the Human Performance Arena and they didn't follow policy and they put a perfume on, I can smell it. And it lingers around the sauna. It lingers around the mosque. I'm like, who was this? I look on the cameras. I'm like, hey, no perfumes, please.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, I'm super sensitive to it. Yeah, and I can't stand acetone and nail salons. Awful. So they need your help too.
Yeah, they probably need a rather large ventilation system.
Right.
Like almost like a range vent.
Yeah, range vent. So that's another thing to talk about is cooking and the volatile organic compounds from cooking.
One of the most, or some of the most pollution you'll ever make in your house is from cooking.
Right.
So you want to get a range vent that goes outside. And you want one that's quiet so that you'll use it. So if you get something that's under like 1.5 zones, you can go look in the specs and, see like how loud is it on high. If it's under like 1.5 zones, you can still talk over it and, talk to your family actually while you're using it. So that's nice to have. And a lot of times you might have to open up a window for the air to be able to flow through easier.
Okay. That makes sense. Air in, air gets sucked out. So you have that channel. Makes sense. Tough though in Florida to open up a window because the humidity comes in and everything gets hot.
No, it's not a big deal.
No?
All the furniture and the surfaces and everything in your house is already, let's say, 75 degrees. And that takes like a day or two to actually equalize at that temperature. So if you open the window or even air your whole house out just for a little bit, the temperature is going to return really fast.
The Germans are onto something. There's a German term called Loefften. And the Germans do that. They open up the windows and they luft the house every day in the morning, just for like a couple of minutes. So we should all be doing that. Loefften.
That's a great idea. Yeah. So the air inside our house is quantitatively different than the air outside. And if you don't know by now, I'm a Bible believer. So it's like, to me, all the evidence that I've seen in scientific papers and medical papers tell me that our bodies thrive in the outdoor conditions. And so we create a different condition inside microbial wise and chemical wise. So when we flush out our house with outside air, we're replenishing those microbes again with healthy microbes instead of the ones that we created.
I see. Brilliant.
So even though I have ventilation in my house every week or two, I just air the whole house out for like 20, 30 minutes.
Luften. That's the term you're looking for. There's no American term for it. Maybe airing out is the closest you can come to Luften.
Yep.
Okay, I'll do that when I get home.
Loefften helps.
Luften. Well, very good, very good. So how's the protocol to getting someone to have you come inspect their house for VOC?
Just email or phone call.
Okay.
Some people will message me, Facebook or Instagram,
Right.
and then I just call them back.
Good, good. We'll put your contact details in the podcast so people can get a hold of you. But I imagine there'll be people calling you because I think there's a couple that need it.
Yeah, hoovershealthyhomes.com is the best place. That'll have my phone number and email and socials.
Excellent. Well, very good. Anything else you want to address?
Let me think. Yeah, it'd be cool just to share a couple stories from a couple customers. Recently, I went to an elderly couple's home, and they were really struggling. The husband, man, he was hacking and coughing, and he couldn't sleep at all. Hadn't slept in days, and just really struggling. So I show up at their house, and their PM 2.5 particles, those are the ultrafine particles. They go straight into your bloodstream, basically. And VOCs were just almost pegged out, just incredibly high. And I was like, you guys need to crack your windows, while we're coming up with a plan. So they went around and cracked all their windows just a little bit. That night he started sleeping. I came back a week later for the follow-up. He was like a different man.
Wow.
And like was sleeping fine again. I was like, that's pretty amazing. Just some fresh air. I guess I'll leave it at that because the other story I was going to tell is about the same.
Brilliant. No, I remember I had a patient of mine. They got your help too. She'd been struggling for a very long time, asthma, using budesonide, albuterol, Singulair every day. It wasn't getting better. We tried all these different things, looked for mold. It still wasn't getting better. But it wasn't until they got you in there and then fixed the VOCs because they had a brand new home. They thought it was a healthy home. It wasn't. It was releasing some sort of off-gassing, some sort of chemical. And the off-gassing from the new home was making them very sick. And once they got that air, I don't know what you did there, but you changed out the air system somehow, got new air in there.
Was it the place in Grant?
Yeah.
Okay, that was an energy recovery ventilator.
Uh-huh.
They have a high-performance home, so very well sealed. So energy recovery ventilator brings in air. At the same time, we're exhausting air ducted to each bathroom individually in the kitchen. So we're pulling out of the polluted areas and pushing into the supply plenum on the air conditioning. So the fresh air is getting distributed through the home that way. So really, really nice way to ventilate.
Brilliant. So I was thinking of like the common symptoms or signs of someone having VOC poisoning, and it's definitely asthma, respiratory, apparently sleep and anxiety. Any other things you can think of?
Muscle discomfort. And I've read in papers it keeps your immune system activated,
Right.
so you get sick out more often.
That's common. People with chronic illness and immune activation. We see that all the time here. And you can see that in lymphocyte mapping. It's a blood test, and you can see immune system activation, elevated natural killer cells, T lymphocytes. And you can see a lot of people's immune system is just in hyperactive overdrive. And then there's another pattern where people have immune suppression, but more often than not, we see them in hyperactive immune system. So even in a common CBC, elevated white blood cell count, elevated neutrophils, elevated eosinophils, monocytes, lymphocytes, just the immune system fighting off, what is it? Viruses, bacteria, Lyme. But maybe VOCs are contributing to that. The immune activation and potentially also immune suppression, which is then creating reactivated viruses and pathogens that are making people chronically sick and recurrently ill and maybe more susceptible to opportunistic infections.
Yeah, for sure. I read a paper recently. It said like atherosclerosis and like, was it like MS and, other immune system related issues are like all related to VOCs.
Well, that would be crazy. Atherosclerosis, there may be many reasons for that. MS, no one knows why that happens. But chronic inflammation may drive both.
Yeah.
Right. So, and most people have chronic inflammation. Most of the diseases you see in primary care are driven from chronic inflammation. And if you're breathing in chemicals all day long, you don't have a chance to heal.
There's one thing, thing that I thought of to bring up that's really important. We know scientifically that fresh air and a fan and a filter are healthy and very important. Once you start introducing a chemistry experiment inside your house, such as UV lights, hydroxyl radicals, ozone, and all these things like that, it's turning the VOCs in your air into secondary aerosols. So that means we have no idea what those are. There's so many of them, we have no idea. If you check out Home Chem, that's an experiment they did over the last 10 years. And they call hydroxyl radicals and ozone the enemy of Home Chem because they're so reactive and they change everything they touch. So I would even go so far as to say you should put a charcoal filter in your home because that'll drop the ozone by half every time the air passes through.
Okay.
So that'll help you out a little bit.
I love that idea, charcoal. We use that extensively here at the practice for detoxing, binding chemicals, Herxheimer reactions. Put it in the home.
For a home to remove enough VOCs to make a difference, you need a giant charcoal canister, and you'd have to, basically waste your money changing that all the time. So that's why fresh air is much more efficient.
For sure. That's a good one to end on. All right. Well, thanks for joining the show. I think this is going to be pretty educational and some practical steps that people can take. Loefften, Loefften being the biggest one here, takeaway.
Yep, and eliminate chemicals inside.
Right. Get rid of the chemicals. But then if you move into a new home, that's pretty tough though, right?
Yeah. A lot of benzene, toluene, and formaldehyde. Those are the big ones in a new home.
Terrible.
Yeah, I'm working for a lady right now, and she's really sick, hasn't slept more than 3 hours a night since she moved into her home. Brand new home, beautiful home.
Well, maybe you can fix the home.
Yeah.
Can we salvage this? Okay.
Oh, another one, just real quick.
Yeah.
I found out that they spray, those bug spray systems that are integrated into the walls?
No, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, a lot of new homes have this thing where they connect a pressurized hose and spray the pesticide inside the walls.
Whoa.
And they're using neonicotinoids, and those also have health effects. So it's like a synthetic version of nicotine
Okay.
that disrupts the nervous system and the bugs and kills them.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
And they inject that into people's walls?
Mm-hmm. So I don't think that's ever necessary. Seal your house, spray outside.
Right.
That's really all you need.
Oh yeah. That's bad. Don't do that. All right.